नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृन्द हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. Is the speaker here? Just wanted to know.
Not it, Mataji. Not it.
Okay, just message me in the chat whenever the speaker arrives. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Gurudev, Jaya Srila Gurudev, जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तरशत श्री श्रीमद् हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस श्रील एसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। हरे कृष्णा, पांचांग प्रणाम।
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for the wonderful Kirtan. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Pranams. Srimad. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Mataji, am I audible?
Yeah, welcome to session, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Mataji, Hare Krishna. Yeah. Shall I begin?
Rohini Mataji, will you be sharing the screen, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji, I'll share the screen. Yes.
Okay, Mataji, shall I start?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Am I audible, right?
Yes, Prabhuji. Audible.
Okay. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरावनचारी यमुना तीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. जय राधा रसि हरि राधा रसि हरि राधे जय राधा गोविंद राधा गोविंद राधे जय राधा मदन मोहन राधा मदन मोहन राधे जय राधे जय राधे जय राधे जय श्री राधे जय राधे जय राधे जय राधे जय श्री राधे 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 गोविंद 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 राधे गोविंद बोलो हरि गोपाल बोलो गोविंद बोलो हरि गोपाल बोलो राधा रमण हरि गोविंद बोलो राधा रमण हरि गोविंद बोलो जय जगन्नाथ जय जगन्नाथ स्वामी जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेव सुभद्रा माई जय सुदर्शना जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयन पथगामी, नयन पथगामी बाबा तुम्हें। जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयन पथगामी, नयन पथगामी बाबा तुम्हें। जय नरसिंहादेव, नरसिंहादेव, नरसिंहादेव जय, नरसिंहादेव जय। प्रहलाद महाराज जय, भक्त प्रहलाद, प्रहलाद महाराज जय, भक्त प्रहलाद जय। गौरनिताय, गौरनिताय, गौरनिताय जय, गौरनिताय। निताय गौर हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल। निताय गौर हरि बोल। जय जय प्रभुपाद, प्रभुपाद, प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद। जय जय गुरुदेव, गुरुदेव, गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव। हरे कृष्णा, हरे कृष्णा, कृष्णा कृष्णा, हरे हरे, हरे राम, हरे राम, राम राम, हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा, कृष्णा कृष्णा, हरे हरे, हरे राम, राम राम, हरे हरे। हरे राम संकीर्तन की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, गौर प्रेमानंदे, हरि हरि बोल। Actually, knowing the fact that we are not able to hear Kartal, still I play Kartal, there are two reasons for it. One is material reason, that while doing Kirtan, if you have a harmonium or a Kartal or a guitar, you are able to give the lay, means the tal, like the beat. The other reason is also because Srila Prabhupada says that when he was beginning his class in the Times Square, I think in New York, in a garden, if it is not Times Square or some place, if you remember, you can let me know. So that garden where he used to give, so a lot of new people used to come and say, Swamiji, you are continuing giving classes when even no one is there. He said, why? I just saw Hanumanji coming. I just saw demigods coming. I said, Devi Devatas are coming. Okay. So like that, we must play Kartal, not because Zoom is not enabling you all to hear that, but we should know that wherever the glorification happens, I don't know, I stay in BTM in the second, near the third cross, second B cross. I don't know which demigod, are just going passing by here, and they may see somebody is trying to make some very, very ill effort, right? I mean, not a very good effort, but when the glorification of Krishna happens, they don't see the patra, they see the effect. And of course, the patra is not seen because the patra is not seen, the person who is doing this is not seen much because the energy is coming from the Lord. So we really cannot say if anybody gives a good class and says, so see how I've given a good class. Doesn't make any sense because it's Krishna who's giving you the power to wake up in the morning and to move your eyelids. What to talk about, and those Devi Devatas under his directions are running your different demigods are running your body under the direction of Krishna. So where is the question of we giving good class or a bad class? Yeah. So we should do an honest effort to please Krishna. That's the reason why we sing this along with the Kartal. If this can give some message to all of us, it'll be nice. All right. So today we will be singing. Actually, yesterday I was told to give this class, so I, you know, I don't know how much justification I can do on behalf of some devotee, but today is a Parayana day for this Ekadashi, and I got a message in WhatsApp, so I cannot really confirm it. But this Ekadashi, which whoever has followed, is equal to Ekadashis done in 40 years. The total number of Ekadashis in 40 years. This Ekadashi is equally important because the third date, which is Trityadashi, the Dwadashi, and the Ekadashi, all the three dates are coinciding on the 14th of October. So yesterday was a very important day for all of us because all the three dates are coinciding. So don't ask me further than this, is what does it mean? because I myself didn't understand. But I'm just sharing you, I could get the message that, okay, so the devotee is trying to say that this is a very auspicious day. And what little message I could get is that within those 40 years Ekadashi, which you collectively do, this Ekadashi is after many, many years, this nakshatra or this time has come. So fortunately, my full family could do it properly. So thank you for all your help. So today, I've been given the shlokas. Let me go to, yeah, WhatsApp and see what were the shlokas actually. 4.2.9, of course, is, and till I think, if I'm not wrong, till 15, correct? Is I'm supposed to saying, yeah. So for till 16, I'm supposed to give explanation and discuss with all of you. So we will do this something similar what we have been always doing, and uh, you all devotees can have turn by turn, and then we will continue. So let me take the first shloka of text 9. Srimad Bhagavatam 4.2.9. श्रूयतां ब्रह्मर्षयो मे सहा देवः सहा गण्या साधूनां ब्रुवतो वृतं नाग नाज्ञानं न च मातशरत्
Shanti Mataji, shloka.
Sarat. Yeah.
And Krupamai Mataji for translation, Sudha Mataji purport.
Yeah. So that next slokas, let me begin the class, Mataji. Is it okay? Then after that you can. Yeah. Yeah. So Shruyatam Brahma Rishyo me Sahadeva Sahanaya Sadhunam Bruvato Vritam Nagyanana Cha Matsarat. Shruyatam means to hear, synonyms by Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada Ki Jai. Shruyatam means hear, Brahma Rasya means, O sages among the Brahmanas, me means unto me, Saha Devaha, O demigods, Saha Sahaganya, O fire gods, Sadhunam of the gentle, Bruvataha speaking, Vritam the manners, Na not, Agyanat from ignorance, Agyana, Nacha and not, Matsarat from envy. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. All sages, brahmanas and fire gods present, please hear me with attention. And who is speaking this? Daksha. So he's saying, please hear me with attention, for I speak about the manners of gentle persons. I do not speak out of ignorance or envy. Purport. In speaking against Lord, by Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. In speaking against Lord Shiva, Daksha tried to pacify the assembly by presenting in a very tactful way that he was going to speak about the manners of gentle persons. Although naturally this might affect some unmannerly upstarts, and the assembly might be unhappy because they did not want even unmannerly persons to be offended. In other words, he was in complete knowledge that he was speaking against Lord Shiva in spite of Shiva's spotless character. As far as envy is concerned, from the very beginning, he was envious of Lord Shiva. Therefore, he could not distinguish his own particular envy. Although he spoke like a man in ignorance, he wanted to cover his statements by saying that he was not speaking for impudent and envious reasons. The part is over now, and we move ahead with the class. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskrityam naranchaiva narottamam devim saraswati vyasam tado jayam mudirayet nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. So I'll do a small explanation and then we will again I'll finish the Mangalacharan prayers or whatever, the initial prayers to be said, and then we'll again, you know, or we have already crossed a lot of time, so let me finish. I'll do a quick one. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yudapadakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sargana Lita Shri Vishakana Vitam Cha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deen Bandho Jagatpate Gopisa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Krishna Bhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kaltarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyev Cha Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Ugam karoti vachalam pangum langyayate girim yat kripatamam bande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Saver Mana Krishna Padara Vindayo Saver Mana Krishna Padara Vindayo. श्रीमती राधा रानी की जय, श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for calling me. And I am seeking blessings of whichever Vaishnava was supposed to give a class today. I was just informed yesterday that you have to give a class. I accepted this as a very auspicious opportunity to purify myself. And so here, now we know that there is a discussion between Vidura and Maitra Muni, and this discussion is initiated by Vidura with his beautiful questions to know about the Krishna consciousness, to perfect his life. And he's very Pariprashnena Sevaya. He's asking the questions in a very Seva Bhav, in a service, and not to challenge Maitra Muni. And why he's asking Maitra Muni is because Upagdektamchite Jnanam Jnanina Tattva Darshana, because he humbly accepted the fact that Maitra Muni has seen the truth. Jnanina Tattva Darshana. He has seen the Tattva, the truth, supreme truth, so he should be able to help me. And we now are reading the discussion between two people, and within that discussion, if you notice, we are coming across a beautiful personality known as Lord Shiva. He's in a hidden form, Krishna himself. And so if you see the universal diagram, the Sadashiva is there. He's just above the, the Dham, Sadashiva Dham is there. So like Shiva is an energy of the Lord, exists in various formats. I can't go too deep to explain what is Shiva here, but I hope you all will refer to this diagram, and with that you will continue to understand how glorious this personality is. So Vidura inquired actually very, very, very something which was puzzling him. He asked actually that when at one hand, Daksha was so affectionate towards his own daughter, Sati, but how he could be so envious of Lord Shiva, his own son-in-law. And in that enviousness, who is actually Lord Shiva is best among the gentle. Who is saying this? Vidura is actually telling um, Maitri Muni that this puzzles me, that Daksha was so loving to his daughter, and yet one of the best gentlemen we can ever see. Even in Mohini Avatar, we know that Lord Shiva was preaching to all the Rishi Munis how to not get attracted by the opposite sex. And after some time, he was running behind Mohini, and nobody, no Rishi, when the Rishis saw him giving class, they were all accepting him as the person who is supremely talented and giving class. And so they took it very positively. And after some time, they saw Lord Shiva running behind Mohini, and they did not even utter a word, saying that what is this person? He's telling us this, and then he's telling us how to stay away, and he's moving behind some lady, but nobody dared open the mouth. So that itself shows what is the position of Lord Shiva, and Mohini is none other than the Vishnu energy, is Lord Krishna himself or Vishnu. So, so, so that's the reason why we understand why Vidura inquired about this, about Lord Shiva. And this inquiry kept on, going across, um, um, and he says, how could such a son-in-law and a father-in-law quarrel so bitterly? Because later on we see that the same Lord Shiva kills Daksha. Right. And so many things. This is a very popular story, not only in ISKCON circles, but beyond the ISKCON circles. Means ISKCON means International Society of Krishna, our immediate devotee association. Devotees are everywhere in this world. So he is asking all this. And then why did Goddess Sati gave up her life? And then Maitreya talks about various sages and philosophers. And he talks about Prajapati, Daksha. In fact, he glorifies Daksha by saying that he was so effulgent, like sun. And whenever he used to enter, the whole presence, some aura around Prajapati was there. So something similar we see even Hanumanji. When he saw Ravana, he saw a huge, although he was drunk, half naked, lying on the bed with a black dhoti he was wearing and ornaments, and he was completely passed out because he had completely drunk. But still, he could see the magnanimity of his presence, and he saw this guy's aura is there. Even he was, Hanuman was, surprised that how can this gentleman? And he saw Mandodari and he saw such a beautiful woman. Then why is he after my Lord's wife? Who's supposed to be his mother? So this material world is a very puzzling world. And so, and then, we know that, he's talking about a lot of, when he enters. So this situation of this shloka is that Daksha has entered into his, his ministers or whatever, say in his court or in his darbar or whatever, and there also enters, um, uh, Lord Brahma also enters, and so um, and then Brahma only orders him to take his seat, and then Daksha takes his seat. So, and actually, in the seventh text, it is written that Daksha was adequately welcomed by the president of the Great Assembly, which is Lord Brahma himself. So when Daksha entered, he was asked to take a seat. So very amazing pastimes here. And so in the text 9, that's what we read is all sages and brahmanas and fire gods present. And that's where the Sambodhan is happening. Please hear me with attention, for I speak about the manners of gentle persons. I do not speak out of ignorance or envy. But then we go into the shloka. Srila Prabhupada very nice, tactfully mentions this, that that we all know that Daksha spoke so badly about Lord Shiva, and so he's always envious of Lord Shiva. But since he's such a high position, he's maintaining his diplomatic behavior. That's what Srila Prabhupada is saying here. So Vaishnavism basically means transparency. However transparent you are a very nice devotee. And if in case you are not transparent and your own mind and intelligence works more in a situation, then you will use this word diplomacy. And diplomacy is something, if you can use it very judicially, Chanakya Pandit says, it can be beneficial. But if you don't, then according to your position, if you are a king, you need to be diplomatic. But you need to be very, very intelligent if you want to use diplomacy. Although every soul thinks that we are very intelligent. I have entered into ISKCON. I'm chanting 16 rounds. I'm reading Bhagavatam daily. I'm very intelligent. And when we are corrected by any other Vaishnava, we get offended. And then, without anything, so as long as in a devotee circle, we are never objected and the management is showing a lot of confidence in us in running the temple affairs or running the Bhakti Vikshas and all, we feel very empowered. And we love everybody. But we want everybody to walk according to our own little intelligent. And we say, so somebody, when we introduce to Krishna consciousness, we tell him, you chant 16 hours. If he doesn't, we try to show him the route and say, if you don't chant, you're not doing this. And then some people run away. So then we should realize that preaching is one way and how to preach is another way, right? Preaching for the heck of preaching is one way, but preaching in a proper way is a different matter altogether. So how mature you are, very maturely you will deal devotees. So if you are immature, that means you're not using your intelligence properly, or your intelligence has not evolved in that body. Actually, in Goluka, each soul is very intelligent. So intelligent, so powerful. But because of our previous janma and karmas, we are given certain body which limits. So some people are not able to sing kirtan however you train them. Some people are not able to learn mridangam however you train them. They are not able to pick up any music instrument. That doesn't mean that they are not good devotees, or they cannot sing properly. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada used to say that hear the kirtan with those people more who are actually not so, surila. They're not so in tune, because then it will take you to the Mahamantra and not sway you to the tune of Mahamantra. So nowadays, what has happened is that we love to hear the tunes of Mahamantra more than the Mahamantra itself. That's where we need to draw the line. And that is why sometimes we start singing tunes which are not favorable for our culture. So all this suggests that we are not very intelligent. And something similar is happening with Daksha here. He's not so intelligent to understand that his weakness is actually visible to people. But he's intelligent enough to know that the people who are present here are the gentlemen, including Brahma, who will never like to hear bad about somebody who is really bad. It's that you'll be very surprised to know that when Prithvi Devi, in the eternal pastimes of the Lord, goes to Brahma and weeps of the sinful activities done on the planet Earth. She talks about the people who are not worthy still becoming a burden on her, and so much of atyachar, so much of intolerance is happening in this world. And Brahma doesn't go and when she goes to Brahma, right, her prayers to Brahma and the reply of Brahma, and then Brahma says, okay, you all go as per Lord Vishnu, every Devi Devta take your position, God, Supreme God will come and take a position and deliver all these miscreants. But nowhere in the shloka you will see him rebuking or speaking ill or using slang language or using, it's like somebody comes and complains to me about somebody and they say, yes, yes, I am seeing it. This fellow is so this and this. We don't use, right? If you're really empowered, then they may use empowered souls. But who can be as empowered as Brahma? Brahma didn't. Brahma, you will never hear him talking about one particular person and then rebuking him, and his shloka is saying, talking about things, and he's using slangs and he's using, no, nothing. He's peaceful. He knows why it's happening, what's it's happening. That means he's supremely gifted by Krishna himself. Brahma is he's actually running the entire universe show. So he's been given those heads. Our Brahma is Chaturmukhi. He has 4 heads, 4 processors in his mind. He has, Prithvi Devi, the Dara Vasundhara Devi, is asking questions with one mind, and answer is coming from a super brain, which has 4 brains, 4 processing brains. And yet he is keeping his quietness and telling. So this way shows that here, in the presence of such a personality like Brahma, who will never speak bad about anybody, but that doesn't mean that he will not give you solutions, right? To treat. It's not that he's not acknowledging that something is bad is happening. He will acknowledge, but he will know the reasons of that bad is happening. So like this, here, Prajapati Daksha is aware of such personality, and that is why he's trying to diplomatically cover. And that is why his enviousness, which is visible, he's trying to cover this. And then Prabhupada writes, he wants to cover his statements by saying that he was not speaking for impudent means, incorrect and or maybe not worthy of whatever he spoke. He wanted to just show that whatever he spoke, he was fully awake and he's right. And whatever he has spoken about Lord Shiva deserves this. And he's trying to give various justifications to his mistake, right? So, as I said earlier, before we throw open the next shlokas for everybody to speak, so this exactly what Daksha is going through. Vaishnavism means transparency. Now, what do you mean by Yara Dekhe Tara Kahe Shri Krishna Updesh? Why Srila Prabhupada used to always say, just repeat what I have written in my books. In fact, to that extent that Srila Prabhupada used to read his own books, and that is why the classes of ISKCON and the way we make prasada, all the ISKCON temples, you will see the taste of prasadam everywhere same. Prabhupada Khichdi in Russia, Prabhupada Khichdi in Bangalore, and Prabhupada Khichdi in US, and any village in North India, to all the places except Russia I have not tasted, in US I have tasted, in India several places. Surprisingly, all of you will agree that the taste of the prasadam is same. Dal rice is same everywhere. Even in California I have eaten, and even in India I have eaten. And believe me, there's no difference in. The reason behind is that we are transparent. We try to please Krishna, and Krishna is tasting with his saliva, and that is why the taste of prasadam. So the more the cook cooks it for not his pleasure and for the pleasure of Krishna, but he confesses to Krishna that I am offering you pizza at home because I also want to eat, Krishna will be still happy. But are you transparent enough to Krishna? That's the point. So Vaishnavism means transparency to Krishna, agreeing to what you know Krishna might disagree with you. Agreeing to the fact that Krishna might disagree with your behavior. You are telling him that I know you are, my Lord, you are disagreeing with this behavior. But do you see this behavior in Daksha? No. That is why he is killed finally. But devotees are saved by Krishna. And who is supposed to call himself a devotee? Others call us a devotee. Is one who is transparent to, to an extent more than his capability. I tell you, sometimes in the devotees association itself, you are tested to the limit of your tolerance. I don't know how many of you have experienced. You are tested to the intelligence, to your limit, even in devotee circles, even in outside devotee circles. Yes, many times you will be tested by the arrangement of the Lord in such a deep way that you will say, "Isse zyada main nahi kar sakta, bhai. I cannot do more than this. You are testing me beyond my limit." But yet put your thumbs and then you say, "Krishna, for you, I will not reply to this devotee. I can, but I will not. I can do this to the world, but I will not. I want to achieve this, but I will not if you are saying this." Although you may have all the possible reasons to explain Krishna, that why am I doing this? But yet you and the Krishna conversation happens within you and the super soul. And then you start surrendering to Krishna mentally. That's the difference between a devotee and a person like Daksha. His consciousness also is very evolved. He could have forgiven Sati marrying to Shiva, but he could not. He had 100 reasons of why Sati took a wrong decision. He could have given up that enmity. It's a question of holding. Like Draupadi was holding a sari. Krishna's sari didn't come. Krishna's arrangement of the cloth didn't happen. It's when they said that she raises her hand and says, "Govind." And she started revolving. And it said that couple of layers of her sari and she was about to be disrobed. And about to be her sanctity or chastity being exposed in this courtyard of so many elegant souls like Bhishma Pitama and Dronacharya and Kripacharya. Then comes the rope of, or a rope kind of cloth encircling Draupadi. It's when she kept on holding the Shasana was 10,000 times stronger than her. And then it said she was holding the sari by teeth, or whatever possible a lady can be. Although she is Yajnasaini, she's born out of Yajna. And any ordinary man could touch her because she could have burned them. And she's getting disrobed, an arrangement to show how one has to finally depend on Krishna. And that is why when our lives, we are so much tired and so much, we don't know where to go. Then we say, Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Please save me from being diplomatic. I want to maintain my transparency. And that is where Daksha is going faulting. And let's read further how and what happens in Shloka 4.2.10. So we'll throw open and we'll quickly read and then I'll try to bring points there. Unfortunately, so many shlokas and just 5-6 shlokas and we get hardly 1 hour time. That to Kirtan beginning and all that. It's impossible. But let's see what we can do. So who's going to sing the next shloka? And Prabhu's also should
Shall I
take
call out the
chance.
names,
Yeah.
Prabhuji?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Purport
Your
also, Prabhuji?
Yes, yes, everything. Let's read. I think there are many shlokas, right? Till 16. I'll try to keep putting in input points here and there in between.
Okay, Prabhuji. Shanti Mataji, you can read the shloka. Kripa Mai Mataji, you can read the translation. Sudha Mataji, you can read the purport. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Ayam tu lokapalanam yashogno nirapatrapaha sadbhiracharita banta yena staptena dushitaha.
Translation by Prabhupada ki jai. Shiva has spoiled the name and the fame of the governors of the universe and has polluted the path of gentle manners. Because he is shameless, he does not know how to act. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Mother.
Let's read purport.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Daksha wanted to impress upon the minds of all the great sages assembled in that meeting that Shiva, being one of the demigods, had ruined the good reputations of all the demigods by his unmannerly behavior. The words used against Lord Shiva by Daksha can also be understood in a different way, in a good sense. For example, he stated that Shiva is Yashogna, which means one who spoils name and fame. So this can also be interpreted to mean that he was so famous that his fame killed all other fame. Again, Daksha used the word Nirapatrapa, which also can be used in two senses. One sense is one who is stunted, and another sense is one who is the maintainer of persons who have no other shelter. Generally, Lord Shiva is known as the Lord of the Bhutas or lower grade of living creatures. They take shelter of Lord Shiva because he is very kind to everyone and is very quickly satisfied. Therefore, he is called Ashutosha. To such men who cannot approach other demigods or Vishnu, Lord Shiva gives shelter. Therefore, the word Nirapatrapa can be used in that sense. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So before the next devotee reads, I want to bring out a very nice Ashutosh nature of Lord Shiva. Nature, basically, you may be knowing that he, you know, he's Ashutosh means he is easily pleased, right? And he's very kind. But Ashutosh generally we just doesn't mean that he's. If you read the line, 1 second, a lot of phones. I don't know. That's okay. Sorry about that. So the he see what it is written. He's very Ashutosh, one who is very easily satisfied. He's very kind to everyone. So there are two things to Ashutosh word. Ashu and Tosha, right? Some Siddhir Hari Toshanam. Hari Toshanam. Ashu Tosha. See how this Tosha word. So some Siddhir Hari Toshanam. It's finally we do all the activities to Hari Tosha, for the Sukha, for the pleasing. So like this, when somebody gets pleased by you, actually it's not say for example Bhasmasura, right? A lot of devotees will say that, or a lot of kathas I've heard, they will talk about the Ashutosha, that Lord Shiva is very easily pleased, so he gave the sorry, Brahma, right? Who gave him this? Brahma, right? Brahma gave him this that wherever, to whomever he keeps a hand, right? He, that person will get bhasm or burnt. Lord Shiva also is known to give boons to others, right? But doesn't mean that they're easily pleased, means they're not, they are very kind. That is why they are easily pleased. That's the point I want to make. But they are very intelligent. He's supreme, right? He's He is the other Guhyam form of the supreme power who's taking care of the living creatures, bhutas, who are lower grade. Now everybody wants to associate with intelligent people, good people, rich people. Nobody wants to associate with, I'll tell you, sometimes when you go and speak to somebody, they say, yeah. They will speak and they say, I'm very hurried. They will never bother to call you. When you meet them, you will give them respect. They will talk as much as you want to talk to them. They have no time for you. Sorry, I have seen it in every format of life. But there are people, when you talk to them, because you're so affectionate, and when they have some work or some motive to you, you spend time to talk to them and help them. But reverse is not expected. You see, you just try to visualize yours around people. There are people present in this world like this. When they have some work, really, they'll stoop to a greater extent to get work done from you, manipulate you, mobilize you, please you, because they want something from you. Okay, you knowingly that he has done several times to me, still you have maturity higher than him, and you don't show enmity and you help him. It's like a saint is helping a crab to come out of water. The more he bites, and then he says, why you are helping? Somebody says, why you are helping, you saint, helping this crab? He says, crab's nature is to bite. And frankly speaking, this happens that, your wife will tell you, why are you helping this guy who has been always ridiculing you? He only comes when he has something from you, but you still help. That means you take a small nature from Lord Shiva, Ashutosh, because you want to please him, despite knowing his or her mistakes. That is the real deeper meaning of Ashutosh. He is not foolish to give anybody any boon like this, or Brahma for that matter. I'll give Brahmasur. I'm right? Bhasmasur was given boon by whom? If you remember that, you can
Shiva,
tell me.
Shiva Prabhu, Lord Shiva.
Shiva himself gave him, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, not Brahma. Actually, I wanted to correct myself. Yeah, that's the reason why my conscience was telling me it was Shiva himself. But Shiva didn't give me, and I think Shiva only while dancing, or who killed him? Bhasmasur was killed by asking him to put his hands on
Mohini
his.
Murti.
Mohini
Yes,
Murti.
Mohini Murti. Right. So don't think that Lord Shiva. Yeah. So this is actually the point. Sorry, I take back that Brahma's portion. So Lord Shiva uh, is now you understand. That doesn't mean that he's foolish enough to give the boon to Bhasmasura. No, he's very kind. He's easily pleased. He knows that he's giving you something you may be a trouble to others later on. But in a way, you can say that he's letting Mohini Avatara to do some pastimes, whichever way. But in this, even this performance of Lord Shiva cannot be de-glorified. It has to be glorified. That is the position of Lord Shiva. He gives him because he's so kind. That's the word. That is why he's known as Ashutosh. And when I entered Krishna consciousness, people said, don't ask anything from Lord Shiva. You go to Krishna, because Lord Shiva may give you something which may not be initially beneficial for you. But Krishna will give you only when it is supremely beneficial for you. Now, that doesn't mean that when I was told this, when I was in the beginning of Krishna consciousness, now after 24 years, I've understood this point, that actually Lord Shiva feels when a person like me or anybody who's ignorant goes and asks from Lord Shiva something, that doesn't mean that he's foolish enough to give us. He says, okay, let him. Anyway, Supreme will handle him. His another form will handle him. And he is now dedicated to Krishna. So slowly we try to come out and go directly to Krishna, one who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the reason. And that is why with Krishna consciousness, we get trained that we, sometimes you really need something from Krishna. So devotee will come and say, Anya Bhilashite Shunyam. Don't ask anything. Krishna will provide you. He's providing all that is okay. But still, everybody, every soul asks something or the other from Krishna, knowing all the facts. But Krishna gives He's also Ashutosh because his form also is Lord Shiva only. So in the form of Lord Shiva, he was pleasing. Don't you think Krishna gives you something to please you? 100 things he has given us, which we don't deserve, but still he has given us, and we have landed up in problem even after being in Krishna consciousness. I am personally my own example. I don't know. I mean, some devotees may not agree with this fact, but if you analyze very deeply your own 20 years staying in Krishna consciousness, you will realize you have asked Krishna sometimes some things, and he has given you despite your patrata not being there, despite your not being qualified. I think the first thing which I think every devotee might not agree, but I tell you, maybe I was not qualified enough to get initiated. Krishna initiated me so that I can give classes in ISKCON, and now standing with second initiation, I do, deity dressing. But I know how bad deity dresser I am, and that I always need somebody's help to help me deity dressing. Okay, that's my fact of my life. And today also, when I do deity dressing in the ICC, because of the permission of the management, I do once Wednesday, every Wednesday last. And this Krishna's arrangement, my heart is always panicking. If that devotee who's coming with me does not there, then how will I dress? And my duty is to dress Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra, Mai. And I don't know, it's very difficult to put the turban and put the, all the paraphernalia. It's very difficult. Maybe it's easy for Matajis because they have, they have the knack, they have the natural capability of dressing the Lord. That's why most of our functions, the dressing mostly is done by, and the jewelry work is done by Matajis because they're, naturally they're God gifted. So I was not qualified. Isn't Krishna Ashutosh? He is. I'm not supposed to be initiated. He has initiated me. That means he is showing the behavior of Lord Shiva for me. Okay, so this Ashutosh word is very deep. So again, I apologize. I knew that I was somehow, I couldn't recollect properly. So I please ask for forgiveness about Bhasmasur being gifted by Lord Shiva, being an Ashutosh. But that doesn't mean he does not know. He's giving an opportunity for Mohini to, dance with him, and Bhasmasura, and then he died like that. Okay, he's got it. So many messages are there in that pastime as well. So this word Ashutosh, actually, I wanted to glorify Krishna via Shiva. That don't think it's only Ashutosh is Shiva. He is Ashutosh in the form of Krishna, or Krishna is the real Ashutosh, real Ashutosh. When we are not knowing Krishna and we are going to Devi Devatas, isn't he telling the Ganpati ji and so many other, Devi Devtas whom we worship before coming to Krishna consciousness? He only tells them, give them. He's my son. He's supposed to come to me. Give him what he wants. And then, because every minister will work, the file goes to Krishna, and then he sanctions. Okay, he wants this. Give him. Give him. He's asking you. Give him. Give him. So they take the permissions from Krishna and give it to him. So this Ashutosh word is Krishna is actually the supreme Ashutosha. That's what I wanted to glorify Krishna with the help of Shiva. It's like, that lattu. So you put the lattu in, and then it's glorifying, and then you show how this world lattu is spinning, that tabletop or whatever that spins. How this is how the even planets are spinning among themselves, and running this navagrahas, and so you can just compare this. So I wanted to use this Ashutosh word to just glorify Krishna via Shiva. Haribol. All right, we'll move ahead. Next shloka. And now
Hare
we'll quickly read first 5 shlokas, and I'll not interrupt until unless there's something. And in the end, I'll give you one example.
Okay, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Param Prabha Mataji, you can read the shloka. Divya Desai Mataji, you can read the translation. Janki
And
Mataji, you can
quick,
read the
because I
translation.
think we have 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I think a lot of shlokas are there.
Hare
Let's
Krishna
quickly.
Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Eshame Shishyatam Prapto Yanme Duhitura Grahita Panim Vipragni Mukataha Savitya Iva Sadhuvat. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Pranam.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. He has already accepted himself as my subordinate by marrying my daughter in the presence of fire and brahmanas. He has married my daughter who is equal to Gayatri and has pretended to be just like an honest person. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranams.
Hare Krishna. Anita Mataji, you can read the shloka. Shilpa Mataji, you can read the translation. Hare Krishna.
The puppet is not read, Mataji, for 4.2.
Yeah, read.
Janki
It's a
Mataji.
small one. It's a small purple.
Hare Krishna Mataji. You called out my
Yes,
name?
Mataji. Yes,
Yeah,
Mataji.
Janki
Janki
Mataji.
Mataji. Hare Krishna.
You want me to read the translation, right? I can't see the screen
Purport
actually.
Mataji.
No, Mataji,
Translation
perfect.
Mataji has read.
Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai, sir. Daksha's statement that Lord Shiva pretended to be an honest person means that Shiva was dishonest because in spite of accepting the position of Daksha's son-in-law, he was not respectful to Daksha. Hare Krishna.
Yeah,
Thank you.
so you read, see, just so he's comparing his daughter Sati to Gayatri. You know who is Gayatri Devi? I don't know if I told you in my earlier Bhagavatam class. Gayatri Devi is the same Devi who personified in the form of the Itihasa, which is Ramayana. Did I tell you that?
No, Prabhuji.
Maybe. No. So please remember this. Somebody asks you, he's comparing to Gayatri. How come Sati and Gayatri? Gayatri Devi is not an ordinary. She's ordinary goddess. She's the one who personified as one of the Itihasas in this universe in the form of Ramayana. Okay, so Ramayana's personification is Gayatri Devi. Okay, just for information. I just gave a class, entire Ramayana I covered sharp from exactly from Valmiki Rishi's Ramayana. All right, so just remember that. Okay, somebody has already read the purport, right? Or has to read? I think we already read that, right?
Yeah, now shloka
Yes.
point.
Yes, next one. Okay, 1, 2.
Anita Mataji, you can read the shloka. Shilpa Mataji, you can read the
Yeah, it's
translation.
a small purpose. We can do it quickly. And there is no purport on this one.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Anita
Okay, Shilpa
yeah.
Mataji, you can read the
Hare
shloka,
Krishna.
Mataji.
I'm
Hare
there.
Krishna. Yes, Mataji.
गृहीत्वा मृगश्वावाक्ष्याः पाणिं मृत्कटलोचनः प्रत्युतानाभिवादाधे वाचापि यकृतनोचितम्. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. He has eyes like a monkey's, yet he has married my daughter, whose eyes are just like those of a deer cub. Nevertheless, he did not stand up to receive me, nor did he think it fit to welcome me with sweet words. Hare Krishna.
Hare. Now, before you move, and the next devotee, he says he's eyes like monkeys, So yet he has married my daughter. Actually, Narad Muni also, you know that pastime when Narad Muni saw himself in the reflection of water, right? Do you remember that? Anybody remembers that pastime?
No, Prabhuji.
Okay, so he I heard it long back. It's a true story. Maybe in the correct context I might not be able to, but as he's saying, his Lord Shiva's eyes are like monkey. So something similar, happened when Narada and see, I'm not a Vedanta like Srila Prabhupada, right? I don't, I just remember whatever I have read with honesty. So we tend to make mistakes, right? So I'm still going to speak like this. If any of you can hear this story and Google it out and correct me, please come and correct me. Question is not of that I get corrected. So, oh wow, what big mistake have I done? Doesn't matter. If you get corrected, your ego is hurt, and then you improve, and that's when you humble and then you go up the ladder. So making mistakes is also very beneficial. It humbles you to go higher. So it's like that he says, right? he asks for something, and then Lord, uh, if I don't know, I don't want to say this, but still let me try it, and you guys can also, you all devotees can go and make a research and come back with that. So he asks, I think, for some, like, you look so beautiful, why don't I look so beautiful, something similar. And then Krishna does something, and then he says, go and look yourself into the mirror. So he goes into the river and sees he finds himself at the face of a monkey, and he was very sad. So I just want to leave you all here that, these things, pastimes, make us remember. I just want to bring this point. If anybody can go through that pastime, well, he sees himself into the reflection and looks in as, he finds himself at the face of a kapi. Please let me know. But this reminds me that, he's also, and then Narad Muni was shaken from his, demand. And like this, here also, the monkey face is being, the monkey's eyes, monkey face, eyes are the part of the monkey, right? So here also you see, notice there's something similar Daksha is doing with Lord Shiva. There, God is doing, Krishna is doing with Narad Muni is acceptable, but he's telling about the eyes of Lord Shiva. He has eyes like monkeys, So I don't know how diplomatic he is like this. And in this also, he's trying to say that he's diplomatic. It's so nice to read Bhagavatam. It's so much of, so many things, so reality Bhagavatam gives you, right? So much is already visible to read and understand. So that's why I saw this monkey's word, I wanted to bring that. Okay, let's go next. 13. Oh, we are already very close to 16. Who wants to read 13? Prabhu. I didn't hear any Prabhus singing today.
Subbarao Prabhuji, Shloka.
Oh, we have 44 devotees. We have 44 devotees. We don't have even one single Prabhu who want to. Yeah.
Krishna Prabhuji.
Haribol.
Gupta Kriyaya Shuchaye. Gupta Kriyaya Shuchaye. Manino Bhinna Setave. Anichanna Pyadavalam. Shraddhaya Voshati Hiram.
All right, translation.
Hare Krishna. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. I had no desire to give my daughter to this person who has broken all rules of civility. Because of not observing the required rules and regulations, he is impure. But I was obliged to hand over my daughter to him just as one teaches the messages of the Vedas to a Shudra. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Krishnamurti Prabhuji, purport. Krishnamurti Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, pranams Mataji. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, pranams Prabhuji. Purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada, Prabhupada ki Jai. A Shudra is forbidden to take lessons from the Vedas because a Shudra, due to his unclean habits, is not worthy to hear such instructions. This restriction that unless one has acquired the Brahminical qualification, one should not read the Vedic literatures, is like the restriction that a law student should not enter a law college unless he has been graduated from all lower grades. According to the estimation of Daksha, Shiva was unclean in habits and not worthy to have the hand of his daughter, Sati. Sati, who was so enlightened, beautiful and chaste. The word used in this connection is Binna Setave, which refers to one who has broken all the regulations for good behavior by not following the Vedic principles. In other words, according to Daksha, the entire transaction of the marriage of his daughter with Shiva was not in order. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, pranams Prabhuji.
Yeah. Before the next Prabhu or Mataji sings, I just want to bring one point here. See, that's what I always, have been telling, that let's not make a mistake like how Daksha is making mistake. Whenever you give, I think couple of, maybe last session when I just say that give classes to everyone. It's not that this group is not doing that. Okay, I'm saying this group is doing that, but the point is something similar here. When here, what is happening? Daksha is trying to analyze Lord Shiva's incapabilities. And I think one of the quote of some Maharaj is there that when you try to look into the mistakes of others, actually that same mistake is in you, and that mistake blinds you so much that you start seeing that same mistake of yours in others. Okay. So how to come out of that? Transparency. If a Vaishnava, let me give you a very big example. Okay. Sometimes when in these devotee circles, it's my 24 years of experience, okay? And I am a independent living entity dedicated to my spiritual master to whatever level. Okay, with that, I'm telling you this. Okay? I'm dependent on my spiritual master for my deliverance. I know that. But yet, I have observed something. When we try initially in Krishna conscious circles, right? In devotee circles, we try to imitate and we try to hide things. So we try to say, Prabhu, I always wake up early in the morning. When you also know the fact it is not practically possible to wake up early in the morning every time. Is it possible? Prabhu, I am always completing my 16 rounds. You say this, and then you try to, you want to get initiated, you try to say as if you are following everything. You're actually following everything. But have you really practiced that what you are following? Not really. But yet Parampara has faith on us, and then we do. When we are preaching to others, always remember somebody showed faith on us despite the facts that we were trying to show what we were even not sometimes. Fake it to make it. That's what I heard from one devotee in a class. Fake it to make it. Right? You fake it. It's just you want to make it. Right? So, but to deliver ourselves, we have to be absolutely, there is no need for you to be diplomatic. If diplomacy doesn't mean, non-being diplomatic doesn't mean that, diplomacy is not wrong as long as you're very intelligent to use diplomacy in the favor of Krishna or the Krishna's devotee. But being polite, but not being so polite, speaking politely to a devotee, but talking to another devotee that he's not good, but in front of him you try to show goodness, doesn't make sense. All these flavors of diplomacy has to go away and transparency has to come. And dependence on Krishna has to come. If you give a class to somebody to speak, give him. But we think, no, he should speak and he should. I have given him the class. Let him give the class the way I want. Then gone. See what I'm trying to say? You try to Lord, because I know what Prabhupada gives class. How do you know Prabhupada gives class? You were not even met him. You've never even seen Prabhupada. How do you know how Prabhupada used to give class? You have just read his transcripts and classes. That's all what you know. He didn't teach you personally. So that's what deity dressing. One Mataji gives deity dressing. Let her do, even if she's not qualified. Let her do. Like this in every service, because service is deliverance. And service brings transparency in you. Service satisfies your senses like anything. Nothing delivers like service. If you are a pujari standing in between you and the Lord, right? There is a saying, right? That when a person comes and wants to see the Lord, the pujari stands in front of the Lord. And then he says, kuch do, to Bhagwan dikhenge. You give him something, he will give you arti. Yeah, right? It happens. And you give him arti, he will give you nariyal. If you don't give him anything, not even leaf will come to you. Sometimes it happens. I'm not blaming anybody. But that is where the self-introspection is needed. You have to be you have been made a pujari for everybody to be shown to the Lord, not stand in front of the Lord and say, I will show you, I will remove the curtain, then you will be able to see the Lord. But he should know that he has been asked to do service of hiding the Lord, because for some time the bhog has to be held, then you have to remove the Lord, curtain. You are just an instrument to to however degree you want to become an instrument in Krishna's hands, you have to be to that degree, you have to be transparent and depend upon Krishna's mercy. I have given him some service, Krishna will empower him. You help him technically, teach him, put him under some other leader who is, who has been doing this service, and train them. But training you should give. And even sometimes Prabhupada didn't even get training time period. And he just made people two days in Krishna consciousness and then initiated them. How much strong faith he had in Krishna. He had in Krishna. That Krishna, I'm initiating him. I know Krishna, you will take care of him. Otherwise, Prabhupada was circling the world. He cannot stay at one place. Otherwise, how you develop so many temples? So he had faith on Krishna. And so with Krishna's faith, he gave faith to others. That's what we all need to do. If our all current generation devotees just give chance of service to everybody in all the temples, this is Vaikuntha. ISKCON temples are Vaikuntha. It will become even more beautiful Vaikuntha. It will continue becoming better and better. And devotees will start delivering katakat, which are happening now also. But that's the purity what Srila Prabhupada wants and bringing. That's what we should avoid being like Daksha. In our circles, we should, even in whoever we behave, we should never like to be like Daksha. Trying to already think, he has already created an impression about Lord Shiva. We should not do that. Because we are all caged in the body, 3 modes of material nature. You are not able to come to Mangal Aarti. अरे सोचो उसके घर में क्या सिचुएशन है. देखो वो तुम उठ पाते, उसकी बॉडी कंड्यूसिव है उठने के लिए, उसकी बॉडी कंड्यूसिव नहीं है, इसका मतलब वो डिवोटी नहीं है. He is not a devotee. You are able to memorize shloka. He is not able to memorize shloka. That means you will not give him class. You are very good in making paintings. Aji, teach him how to paint. Nahi, to kuch aur kaam de. So like this preconceived notion is what Daksha is showing. And we devotees also should try to come above this. And then we will Brahma Bhuta Prasannata. Then the Vasudeva, then all devotees will really feel the pleasure. The more the transparency is there among us to serve Krishna and to let others serve Krishna, the more you enjoy. That is the point what we are learning from here. Okay, Haribol, this is a very long shloka and we have already taken time. Okay, 14, 15 and 16 are 2 shlokas. Do we have time? We can take one. We can just read, except the purport, we can read the shloka.
Shloka and translation.
Shloka and translation of next 2.
Shilpa Mataji, shloka, and Subbarao Prabhuji, translation.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. प्रेतावासेषु घोरेषु प्रेतैर्भूतगुणैर्वृतः अटत्युन्मत्तवन्नग्नो व्ययुक्त केशो हसनरुदन् चिताभस्म कृत्स्नानः प्रेतसग्नस्थितभूषणः शिवापदेशो यशिवो मतो मत्तजनप्रियः पितः प्रमथनाथानं तमो मात्रात्मकात्मनां. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Translation by Divine Grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. He lives in healthy places like crematoriums, and his companions are the ghosts and demons, naked like a madman, sometimes laughing and sometimes crying. He smears crematorium ashes all over his body, and he does not bathe regularly, and he ornaments his body with a garland of skulls and bones. Therefore, only in name is he Shiva or auspicious. Actually, he is the most mad and inauspicious creature. Thus, he is very dear to crazy beings in the gross mode of ignorance, and he is their leader. Hare Krishna.
Divya Mataji, shloka, and Padma Mataji, translation.
Hare Krishna.
तस्मात् उन्मादनात्ये नात्ये नष्टशौच दुर्हृदे दत्तवाता मया साध्वी बोधिते परमे स्थिता.
This translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. On the request of Lord Brahma, I handed over my chaste daughter to him, although he is devoid of all cleanliness and his heart is filled with nasty things. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Read the purport also. If you can quickly read the purport in next
I
2
can do it,
seconds.
Prabhuji.
Yes.
Purpose.
Yes.
It is the duty of parents to hand over their daughters to suitable persons, just befitting their family traditions in cleanliness, gentle behavior, wealth, social position, etc. Daksha was dependent that on the request of Brahma, who was his father, he had handed over his daughter to a person who, according to his calculation, was nasty. He was so angry that he did not acknowledge that the request was from his father. Instead, he referred to Brahma as Paramesti, the supreme teacher in the universe. Because of his temperament of gross anger, he was not even prepared to accept Brahma as his father. In other words, he accused even Brahma of being less intelligent because he has advised Daksha to hand over his beautiful daughter to such a nasty fellow. In anger, one forgets everything, and thus Daksha, in anger, not only accused the great Lord Shiva, but criticized his own father, Lord Brahma, for he is not very astute advice that Daksha hand over his daughter to Lord Shiva. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Very good. Now you saw, right, that how, one mistake leads to another mistake, right? So he's doing a mistake of speaking ill about Shiva at the same time, then he started criticizing Brahma as well. So this is what happens. So, but this is very clear. I mean, there's a lot of spiritual significance actually to this meaning as well, but everything cannot be discussed at one point of time because we are covering so many shlokas. So, but I want to end this class with 2 examples. We say that when we all say that, let's become good devotees. Believe me, in the material exams, right? We at times when we are giving exams, we sit behind each other, right, on the material exams, and then you people do this. Hey, show me something. I don't know this section A, this answer, right? We all have done that, So in one of the videos of Gopal Prabhu I was just seeing yesterday, he said that in material exams you can copy and you will clear. But what to do with the exams of life? So he was actually making a point on don't compare yourself with others. He says that others have 500 liter of can and they already filled it. And you have a 5,000 liter of can, they've already filled it because when they were born, 4,999 liter was already filled. Throughout his life, he was making it 4,999 to 5,000. And you have a 500 liter can and you're trying to make it 5,000. How can things will overfall? You're getting my point. So what he's trying to say is that you are born with some resources. That resource can be your body, intelligence, mind, eyes, the tone God has given you. You can sing well. Some devotees do whatever I cannot, right? Somebody, like same, all examples, okay? So what he's trying to say is everybody is given a set of things to work on. So when I was hearing this, I got 2 more examples to super endorse of what he was saying is everybody is born with different circumstances. When we are coming here together, we must never forget that everybody has different exams to give in life. Now, the final exam is, of course, Krishna consciousness, but different circumstances. Some people, their parents die very early, and like my father lost his mother at the age of 9. At a tender age of 9, my father lost his mother. And my mother, when I ask about my grandmother, my father says, he's like, and then he wept one day. He said, I don't remember much. I just saw my mother. Then I was nourished by my elder sister. who was actually much elder to her. So she only became like a mother, and my father was very much attached to my Bua, my father's elder sister. And when she died very early at the age of 64, 65, my father was completely shattered because he didn't see anybody else. So that's his situation. See, my father has never seen a mother in his life. He has never seen what a mother's love is because she died at the age of just when my father was just 9. How can I ask him to explain what is mother's love? Tell me. How, from where my father will explain? From where he will explain? So, think this for everybody else in this world. Some people are not given something. They have different tests. Still, my father became such a good person that because maybe
Hello?
my father's wish, I became a devotee.
Hello? Hello?
Okay? I don't know. Somebody saying hello. I don't know.
Prabhupada,
But
Prabhuji, please be on mute.
yeah. So please understand what I'm trying to say. Everybody has a different. My very close friend in class 10th, when we were preparing exam, just 2 months before his father died of cancer, and he could not give his 10th because he didn't have money. And then he got a job in his own father's some public works department in my native. And when I met him, that वो उसकी मासूमियत ही चली गई. He lost his innocence. I was preaching him, but I was suddenly reminded that look what he has gone through to whom you are preaching. Was your father taken away? His education was disrupted. He became almost like his father was a contractor in public works department. He could not read. He could not complete his education because he had 2 more sons to feed. But good enough that because he was a little tall, much more broader than me, he looked more matured than me. I was a 10-year-old boy. He was looking mature. He got a job. Somehow they gave him, and the moment he did his 12th, they gave him some labor kind of job, but he kept on, and today he's doing pretty well. But when I preach him, I always remember what he has gone through. So then I become like this. How do I preach him? He hasn't seen a normal life like me. My father didn't see a normal life. So when you preach, somebody always know. Everybody has been given different set, maybe because of their past life action. But you cannot blame them. अरे उसके साथ ऐसा हो रहा है क्योंकि उसने past life में ऐसा किया अच्छा हो रहा है. ये जिस दिन हमने कर दिया ना, सर्वनाश है हमारा. कभी नहीं हम किसी को ब्लेम कर सकते. यही तो गलती दक्षा कर रहा है. वो देख भी नहीं रहा है किसको और मिस्टेक पे मिस्टेक. तो वही मैं बात आपको बता रहा हूं कि सबके एग्जाम्स डिफरेंट है. एवरी पर्सन हैज अ डिफरेंट एग्जाम टू गिव इन लाइफ. बी वेरी टॉलरेंट and reciprocative, and don't show your urgency to everybody. Be very polite and humble to everybody. Why? Because you have been gifted. That gentleman has not. Look, his life, his actions have created such a havoc in his life. We don't even know. Mataji, time pe nahi aayi. You should come on time. अरे उसको देखो उसकी जिंदगी में क्या हुआ है. That is why friendship is very important. Prabhupada has built this movement based on friendship, not on strictness. Friendship के साथ धीरे धीरे brings strictness. So that's the first point. Son, you have to be very tolerant. So the first message what I get from Gaur Gopal Prabhu's video was, be tolerant to everybody. And whoever is able to perform, accept it, that's the best they can do. Don't try to become Krishna to them. Don't screw मत करो उनको. रहने दो. आएंगे वो, बनेंगे डिवोटी. तुमसे पहले डिलीवर हो जाएंगे. They will deliver before you. Think like that. Second point, become like a sun. Sun will shine, but we glorify sun. But who has placed sun at a proper position? Krishna. If we are sun, we are knowledgeable, we know Krishna consciousness, but Krishna will put you at a certain place so that you don't burn anybody with your light. If sun will say, I am Surya Narayan, I am giving light to everybody, but he has been placed by Krishna at a certain distance from earth. If he is 1 inch closer or 1 inch away, earth will die in either way. So that distance between the earth. So Krishna is the real reason of us being expressive in Krishna consciousness, because you are able to do Krishna consciousness because he has placed you in such a spin of life that you are able to show you are able to show exhibition of devotion. That is why you are getting initiated, and that is why you are getting second initiated. Nowhere else, nowhere, none other than this reason, that Krishna has placed you in such a way, my dear soul, that you are able to exhibit the phenomenon of devotion. So don't be in ahankar ki my second initiated hu, my first initiated hu, my deity worship karta hu, I am the one. Gaye. कृष्णा ने आपको सूर्य के जैसे एक पोजीशन पे रखा है. दैट इज व्हाई यू आर एबल टू एग्जिबिट डिवोशन. थर्ड पॉइंट और सेकंड पॉइंट rather, third point. You see, our life is like a paper. When you take a pen, whether a ball pen or an ink pen, you write a story. The story is written and everybody glorifies that story. This pen, is it glorified? They keep it there. Let's take an example of a book. A book is written. Nobody glorifies the machine where it was published or printed, but everybody glorifies the publication. So Krishna is like our publication, and we are like paper. And the energies of Krishna is writing stories on our paper. We are the souls. We are like paper. Who suffers more when a story is written on a paper? The pen nib or the paper? Tell me. You will say
paper.
Paper tolerates like tattoo in the body. I don't say that you should do tattoo. I'm just giving a different example. So when a story is written on a paper, my dear devotee friends and sisters and brothers, you are like a paper, and Krishna is writing stories on you. It will be painful. You have to tolerate that. That's the message what I get from God. So everybody's life is like a paper. But when you tolerate, who is glorified? The paper? Yes. The paper is glorified because the content written on it glorifies the paper. So content on us is Krishna consciousness content. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Our consciousness is like a paper. The more you chant, the more you read Bhagavatam, the more you are being imprinted by Krishna, Krishna, Krishna so much that content glorifies the paper. And that is why my Bhagavad Gita is a little far off. We put the Bhagavad Gita on our head because it is so sacred. After all, it's just a paper with any other. In fact, the Bhagavad Gita, what we devotees print, I have seen books with much more luster papers and shining papers, but Bhagavad Gita becomes more important. Why? Because of the content. So the body is not supposed to be glorified. It is the content which is written via the body is to be glorified. That is why Prabhupada says, look not to the body, to the spirit soul, because the content is coming from the soul and not from the body. I may not be good looking, I may not be this, I may not be able to give good katha. So what? I'm talking about Krishna. That's what we should think about it. With these 3 points, I know I've taken a lot of time. I'm sorry. I just wanted to share my realization with all of you. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji,
Oh
only one question, Prabhuji, from Rohini Mataji. It's from 10th purport. In Daksha says that Nirapatrapa. There are two meanings for that. One is who is stunted. So Mataji wants to know what exactly Prabhupada means meaning in this word, Prabhuji. Stunted. Nirapatrapa.
Which sloka, Mataji? Yeah, I know that.
4.2.10.
4.2 dot?
10.
Okay, let's go and read
it
that.
is in purport. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll honestly, I can just read and see what best I can understand from. Okay, so let's read this. I don't know, it's already 11. How many people are still devotees? Okay, 2 devotees have gone. 42 devotees. I should respect their time as well. Anyway, I'm sorry if I have spoken more than my, but sometimes, so many points come, you feel like sharing them. Okay, so So the question is, let's read this, right? Daksha wanted to impress all the minds of the sages assembled in the meeting of Shiva that being one of the demigods, he had ruined the reputations of all the Devi Devtas and demigods by his unmannerly behavior. The word used against Lord Shiva by Daksha can be understood in a different way, in a good sense. For example, he stated that Shiva is Yashogna, which means Yashogna, which means one who spoils the name and fame. But this can be interpreted in both ways. That he is either killing the other's fames. Okay. Again, Daksha used the word Nira Patrapa. Okay, I would read it as Nira Patrapa, which can also be used in two senses. The first thing is, one sense is one who is stunted. The other sense is one who is maintainer of the persons who have no other shelter. Okay, generally Lord Shiva is also known as Bhutas. Okay, so I think one who is stunted, let me see. So stunted, see the word meaning of the word stunted, we have to go. I know I'm stunned by his behavior, right? So let's see the English meaning of the word stunted. It says having been prevented from growing or developing properly. The trees exhibit a stunting experience. Okay, this is the meaning. So let's go and see why Prabhupada is using this word stunted. Okay. So he says one sense is one who is stunted. Okay. And the other sense is one who is maintainer of persons who have no other shelter. So, okay, let's see one who is maintainer of person who have no other shelter. So here he actually in the next slokas, you will see that he's maintaining, he's actually mentioning about the people who are on the lower mode of knowledge, and they like his wearing all these, these skulls and all that, right? And ash and all that. So actually he's coming to that point. So he's trying to probably, so now I don't want to speculate here, but I'm going to stick to what Srila Prabhupada has actually used these meanings. So stunted mean when Prabhupada is saying maybe their growth is stunted. Okay, that way you can take it. And the next one is okay, so Nira Patrapa, he's saying, Prabhupada is saying, is one who is stunted. Maybe their spiritual growth is stunted. They have got some people who are their growth is maybe spiritually, I'm taking it like that, or maybe materially their growth is stunted. And another one who is maintainer of no other shelter. And since he's also maintaining those lower entities, which no other Devi Devta would like to take care of them, but this guy is ready to take care of them. So he's not able to, he's trying to actually say two things, and that's what he's trying to say, right? That he's trying to glorify also, yet at the same time he has two meanings. So, but later on the shlokas, you see he's very prominent. His emphasis is more on beating him. So Srila Prabhupada is explaining these two things. I think that is what Srila Prabhupada understood in this way, is that one whose growth has been shunted, and also so he's the maintainer, who can be, one second, one more thing. Let's go and read the translation also. So the name and fame of God to change because he shamelessly does not know how to act. Yashogno Nirapatrapa. He's actually telling about Lord Shiva himself, I think. He's talking about Nirapatrapa to Shiva. And he's saying Shiva is acting like a stunted person whose growth has been stopped. And also, he's actually the maintainer of the person who have no other shelter. And we know which are the people he's referring to are the ones later on who are admiring his uncleanliness and his wearing the skulls. So in a way, what I understand in my small intelligence is that he's talking about Lord Shiva as a person who is himself stunned. That's what we understand the meaning, that is materially or spiritually he's like stunted. His growth has been stunted. He's that Nirapatrapa. And he might also mean, that's what Srila Prabhupada is saying, and that Nirapatrapa can also mean that he's taking care of the people who have no other shelter, means they're also Nirapatrapa, means they have no other shelter. And they are being taken care by this gentleman. And now we know in the later shlokas whom he is referring to. He's referring to all those who are also in these lower grades of creatures, whom nobody is else taking care. So in a way, I see this is what it actually Prabhupada might be meaning. If any other devotee can give a better explanation this, I am just trying to stick to what Srila Prabhupada has
Hare
written
Krishna,
over there.
Prabhuji.
Yes,
Prabhuji,
yes.
small
we are exceeding the
clarification.
time,
Prabhuji.
Yeah, I
Hare
know.
Krishna, Prabhuji, we are exceeding the
Prabhuji,
time
once.
limit.
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, please, actually, it's your
Yes,
most
yes.
short time.
I know.
Sorry, Prabhuji, Krishnavati, Prabhuji, sorry.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, it is said in the what meaning? It says, Nirapatrapa is shameless.
Shameless. Yes.
Shamelessness,
Stunted means I took shameless. That's what. Oh, yeah. The meaning is shameless. Yeah, he's a shameless guy.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. In Kannada, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. In Kannada, Nirapatrapa in Nachike illadavanu ashamed. They have used this word as ashamed.
Good. So that's what he's stunted. That's what he's saying. He's stunted. Ashamed means he's stunted. He's like thick-skinned, right?
Yes.
Stunned. He's not. Somebody is telling something. He's not affected by it. He's stunned. His growth is stunned, right? We say thick-skinned people. He's like a shameless, thick-skinned person. His growth is stunted. He's like nothing is happening to him. All right. Anyway, we've taken a lot of time. Let's end this class. Otherwise, I hope this was okay. I mean, whoever asked the question, is it okay? Basically, a shameless person and who is giving shelter to shameless people because there's no other shelter. Because later on, you realize that.
Thick skin is a perfect word for Prabhuji. Thick skin.
Sorry?
Thick skin is a perfect word. Perfect word.
Yes.
Perfect. I mean, explanation. I think.
Explain.
Vancha kalpatarubhya kripasindhubhya patitanam pavanebhyo
वैष्णवेभ्यो नमः अनंत
Anantakoti
वैष्णव
की जय,
श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Best wishes to all devotees.
Hare Krishna.